Hi, today I wanted to do a quick video on different driving modes that the BMWs have. The first one is standard mode, comfort mode, sport, and sport plus. And I wanted to find out exactly what those feel like and feel like when you're driving. Is it worth getting a car that has those modes or is it not? So stay tuned. So as you can see here on the display, there's a few modes that I can toggle through in this button right here. So if I toggle through them, it shows me which modes I can pick from. We got comfort, normal, which is usually the default. I got sport and sport plus. And what the sport plus does is it turns off the traction control, but it doesn't completely disable it. So, and I'll show you here on this screen here, if we go to different modes. So we'll start with comfort, and we got normal, we got sport, and what you can do is you can actually configure what part of the chassis you want to be, more aggressive or less aggressive. So you can do drivetrain, or you can do go back here, drivetrain or drivetrain and chassis. So you got a few options and you can see them kind of toggling through. So I just keep it in drive and chassis. That's what we'll be experiencing. And then if you go up one more time, it's sport plus. So it's basically the same thing as the one before, but it turns off the traction control. There is a trick though. If you are ever driving a car and you are stuck in snow, like where I live, there's a way to turn off traction control. And the way you do that is you press and hold this button right here for about 10 seconds and you'll see what happens. So we'll go into, let's say, sport mode. We'll click select, okay? And then if I zoom out here, I'll be able to show you exactly what that looks like. So you press and hold for about 10 seconds or so. And you see that light button that turned on right there? That completely turned off the dynamic control. And it also shows right here, DSC off. The only way you can do that is if you turn off traction control, is if you press this, hold this button for about 10 seconds. And then it completely disengages. So what that does is it completely removes traction control. So if you're stuck in snow or something, you press and hold that button, you'd be able to peel out. Or if you ever wanted to do burnout on your car, especially in BMW, that's the only way to do that. You'd be able to turn that off, and that completely frees the wheels to do whatever you want. So if you wanted to do a massive burnout, that's the only way to do that. Otherwise, even though this is a manual car, it would not do it. The automatic traction control will kick in, and it won't let you do that. Your engine will start to die, and you see RPM start to drop. So that's one way of doing it. But without further ado, let's test out the modes and see exactly what they feel like. Okay, so this is the test on the comfort mode, and it's kind of hard to test it when you're stuck in traffic, but we'll get right through it. Before I go into a more open road, I'd like to clarify exactly what it does. So basically, if you're driving on the road and it's pretty smooth, with comfort mode, what it does is it absorbs a lot of the bumps and cracks on the road a little better. And the biggest difference you're going to notice is during the acceleration. So the car won't leap forward. It will try to accelerate a little bit slower than if you were to have it, for example, in sports mode. And that's the biggest difference. And so the normal mode, if we toggle down and go to the normal mode, everything's basically neutral. The suspension on the comfort mode is adjusted a bit, just so it's a little bit more soft throughout the bumps. And normal mode is where it's kind of in between the sport and the comfort, so it basically evens it out right in between. So it's not too aggressive on the bumps, but it also gives you that flexibility if you want to speed up occasionally to go on ramp or off ramp. So that's what that does. A little trick I'd like to also share is on a manual BMW, when you put it into gear and you let go of your foot on the clutch, the car won't actually start to roll back. For example, if I let go of the brake pedal, it'll stay for a few seconds before it starts to roll back. So here I'll do it where you can see. So my foot's off the brake, 1, 2, 3, and it starts to roll back. You can kind of see it. But that's also really nice if you're just starting to learn how to drive manual, or you hate going up big hills. It helps you kind of jump off the line without rolling back. So here we are in standard mode, and you can kind of see the RPMs. And then once we put it in sport mode, you can do that while driving. You'll see the gauge. It feels like just a bit more grippy. It just wants to go. And I wish I was able to do a side-by-side comparison in terms of acceleration on how fast it goes from 0 to 60 on different modes, but I won't be able to do that test today. But if you just step on it, I mean, it just flies. It just wants to go. And I'll do that same acceleration here on comfort mode or normal. So you can, I don't know if you can hear it, but it feels a little bit more sluggish than if you were to do it in sport mode. And Sport Plus, it's basically the same thing, but it won't really do anything unless I start taking really dramatic cornering. But it just feels more rigid when I go and shift through the gears. So that's basically it. So here I'll do one more up here. I'm in Sport Plus. Alright, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I'd like to share more things about the car and maybe the things you know about your BMW. And I'll keep those videos coming. Thanks. Have a great day.